first when the snowmobiles came along. They made it hard. Magpie way down here, and an eagle. Well, there's something dead here. Look at this. Something that got killed right there. Every piece of fur has a story. The person who puts that fur on, some lady just throws down a credit card and spends $40,000 on a fur coat, and I'm just grateful as hell that they support us. But we never know, or we never care. But when somebody puts on a ranch fur coat, they're putting on something that's been very well maintained, very well nurtured. People with a degree in agriculture, with a specialty in mink, and they raise these things by the millions. When you come up here and you buy a piece of wild fur, every piece of fur in there, there's a story. It involves a tremendous amount of effort, no small amount of hardship, and always, every year, a fair element of risk for every trapper that's here. That looks pretty darn good. Look at that. Doesn't get any better than that. Gosh darn. There's some challenges here. Not idling. So, it's just, things add up. It's not always just the way it always seems. It's harsh out here. So harsh conditions, so carrying capacity of the land is only going to go so far. There will be so many breeding pairs come out in the spring. It's only what the land will support. So as a trapper, I could come in here and I could trap out a lot of marten early in the year. And I take care of I clean up a lot of the migrating population, and instead of the population going through a period of attrition for the carrying capacity, by removing that population, that surplus early in the year, and then backing off and leave them alone, I can guarantee that there will actually be more breeding pairs come the fall, because they're not competing and slowly running out of a dwindling food supply. You don't see it as much in wintertime, because right now this is a busy place. The forest is a very busy place in the wintertime, but you don't see it like you do in the summer. In the summer, this is like the busiest city in the whole world. Even as the snow is melting and the waters begin to run, there's already algae that start growing in the water. And if you're out here beaver trapping, you start seeing everything coming up as the ducks and the geese show up, and as the algae start in the water, and as every 24 hours you'll see a very significant change in the forest. When you're connected to it that way, when you see it from that point of view, when you're out here all the time, you just know in your guts that this complicated system wasn't just an accident. Whether it was designed or whether it's just thousands or millions of years of change have made it that way, but it's absolutely no accident that these things happen the way they do. urban people are probably way ahead of everybody anymore in understanding that is that we have to look after our environment, we have to look after those things. At the same time, is that I'm not so sure is that they're as quick on picking up on the fact is that it's more complicated than just like, let's not kill a wolf and we've saved the wilderness. Or let's find some other cute and charismatic animal like a wolverine or a marten or a river otter and not take a look at the need for managing it. So I want to congratulate you guys. I also want to thank Ray for organizing this up. Yeah, Ray, that was a really big deal. So we do a number of these courses every year, and what's interesting about the one that I'm doing at Sturgeon Lake right now is that a lot of them are extremely good trappers, and many have taken the Alberta Trapper Education course. But what's historical here is this is the first time that they've ever actually did a full course for the band on the reserve. One of the most important things that I could tell you guys right now as I talk to you guys about that graveyard in Iqaluit and how deeply that impacted me is that I hope you guys catch lots of catches, I hope you guys catch lots of fur, and I hope it's wonderful. But I'll tell you right now as a professional trapper is that if you can't do it ethically, if you can't do it humanely, then I hope you never catch a piece of fur in your life. It's always about, as Thomas Kuhn said, it's always with love, with honor and respect. And that's the only way that you'll ever be a successful trapper, and that's the only way that you'll ever get the most that the bush is going to offer back to you.
How big does your liquid?
That's perfect. When you put it in, you can pull a little tighter. And then crimp it. Hold on. See it's coming through? Mm-hmm. Okay, no, you crimp it twice. Just move it up. The 28-hour course we have here in Alberta is considered to be one of the best, if not the best, of trapper education courses across in North America. Trappers are the front line of disease control when it comes to wildlife management, so we spend a lot of time on disease. Is that, as well, we have a role to harvest fur, is that we also want to do that sustainably, so we spend a lot of time talking about wildlife management. When we go through the biology of the different fur bearers, we talk about harvest methods in terms of what's sustainable, what a person should be looking at, recognizing the carrying capacity of the land for each individual species.
I'm trying to make it as natural. So as he goes down the trail, there's no room for him to pass.
So you're okay if you use a killing device? You don't have to check it regular trap checks. You can go check it when you want. Because the animal's dead. The only time you check it every 24 hours here because you don't want that animal to suffer once he's in a trap.
You have to have like a branch. I was never really a bush person, although I was raised by my grandparents and we lived in a tent 40 below trapping. I was there with them. So I had, I remember the memories of the trapping days. We need to pass this on to our kids, our grandkids. So once we're gone, it'll live on, pass it. So this is awesome what Ray J did. We've never had this in the community, this course.
I never used the trap, I used the snares. And when you're doing a cubby, do you want your trigger in or out?
Yeah, it depends on how you want the animal to talk.
Yeah. I think I want it more out, that way it snaps.
Somebody's built a lynx pen before.
And what I used is the bark, spruce, and a few twigs. So I made sure that there's no any space there for it to crawl, sneak. So it has to go straight into that box. And you wouldn't believe what I use. Breadcrumbs and cheese. It always works.
Serious?
She's selling a product here.
And I think I won't check it till maybe next summer. It's so important because, you know, with economy and the hard times, there's so much, like even the power is so high. We need to go back to the olden days. That's how come I will never sell my trapline, even though I've had offers wanting to buy it. I said, no way, I can't.
Yeah, you just put your foot right across both sides, and you don't have to step down hard or anything like that. It's not like you're doing something really, really brave or anything like that. All you're doing is just all you do is just put your foot on it, and then go from there. So.
Are you ready? Okay.
Wow, it just made it look really easy.
You should have caught your toe. An elder a long time ago had told me tough times are coming ahead. And now I see it. Like, look at all the animals, the water's getting contaminated, and well, even the beef, you know, the mad cow disease. Well, even the moose, it's going to be kind of scary.
Box in there. There's a Martin in it. Yeah.
Sure. We can see him if he comes out. Oh no, he's. Oh. Oh. And he stopped over here. Oh. That's a pretty little martin. Another juvenile. That's what happened. Something else is. There's another martin in the area. It always seems to me when every time he's probably traveling with another juvenile. And we're dealing with wolves that were predating on livestock and creating lots of problems for us folks over there. Came from there as it got home. We flew into Edmonton, drove up to Grand Prairie, had a sleep. My wife and I got in our vehicle, drove to Yellowknife, hopped on a plane, spent the night there, hopped on a plane, and then flew over to Iqaluit. When my wife and I walked down onto the beach, here's a great big graveyard. Where it's easy to dig on the beach. It's one of the few places where they can dig a hole. So the rest of it's all granite. Here's a great big graveyard and way outsized for the size of Iqaluit, with 6,000 or 7,000 people, way outsized for that. And a lot of those graves are fresh. Suicides. What do you do when you feel like there's no hope? When you feel like there's no hope, and you feel there's nothing else, you might as well off yourself.
Yeah. There we are. We're pretty pleased with that. What's that for cool?
And Allie asked her about it, and she said, well, in Iqaluit I can buy 15 or 20 things for $100, whereas she says in Coral Harbor you could never buy 10 things for $100. think about that when you go to a grocery store down here with all 100 different kinds of cornflakes, and is it for $30 you can walk out with 4 bags full of stuff. So for those people up there to be able to buy other things, is they need to be able to sell that fur. They need to be able to sell those seal pens. There isn't other jobs. They can't just go get a job at a 7-Eleven or a job pumping gas. They don't. It isn't like Alberta here where every person has at least 3 job offers going and will for the rest of their lives, and for the foreseeable future. It's just gonna be. It's good. They don't have that up there. It hit me really hard that every time, if we don't do things down here right, if we don't do things humanely, sustainably, if we aren't thoughtful, if we don't look at the larger picture, and see our place in the environment, and our role as managers, as stewards of the land, and if we don't do it with honor and with dignity and respect, is that we lose ground down here for our hunting and trapping community. That's pretty bad. It would definitely impact myself and thousands like me. Hundreds of thousands and hundreds would definitely impact. But is it no impact like will those people up in Pangnertang, in Grise Fjord, in Iqaluit, is where they have very few options, and is it every time there's a big mess down here, every time the activists go in another campaign and talking about stuff that they have absolutely no idea about, relying on emotionalism and sensationalism, is that they're contributing directly to that graveyard in Iqaluit, to all those graveyards up there. There's blood on those people's hands.